In repeat offender news submitted by Coffee Stains, a killer was released from prison after being deemed too old to be dangerous, but he killed again.
Oh my God.
Who let him out?
What country?
This country.
Oh my God. Is he like 95?
Somebody got out of prison in this country?
77's young, yeah.
Wow. Trump's 77.
And he's running the country. There's a lot of like able-bodied 70.
I think he's 73.
Oh, okay.
That's true.
I just heard it said
Bernie
out loud.
Sanders is 97.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Bernie. And when McCain ran, wasn't he in his late 80s or something like that?
Yeah. He looks way old.
So 9 years ago, a judge said that this man named Albert was too old to be dangerous. Wow. And that's at that time.
But he was 70 some. Oh,
77 now.
Oh, so he was in his late 60s when they said he was too old to be dangerous.
Yes.
Oh, come on.
How old was the judge?
So
was he like 20?
Was he like 16?
Exactly. So that's what this whole story is like now looking into. Like, the fuck kind of system do we have? Like, what the fuck kind of judge is this?
It's only fair if he killed the judge.
No,
it's a complete even deal.
So this man does only crimes against women.
Oh, so I don't have to worry about him. Okay, that's pretty cool.
That's
I'm not one of his targets that he looks for.
I love how you always look on the bright side.
Oh yeah, I feel safe. Yeah.
He is very optimistic. That's what I love about him the most.
Yeah. Oh, thank God.
I know, thank God, I'm off the hook.
Yeah, so this guy, he had served more than 25 years in prison for his crimes. So the first occurred 40 years ago, back in 1979.
They let Jeffrey Dahmer out because he's too fucking old.
Yeah, so...
Is he white? His name's Albert. Oh, he's white as fuck.
Yep.
Oh, he looks dead, bro. I'd let him out too.
Yeah, if I saw that, I'd be like...
But 9 years ago, he didn't look like this.
He looks dead,
He
bro.
looks like he should be wearing a robe and sitting in a very cold place in Game of Thrones, you know?
He looks like that face
I thought you were going to say the Vatican City.
Oh no, my references are very current.
His lawyer looks dead too.
Yeah, dude.
Maybe they did the, fuck, what's the tweaking of the picture?
The face app thing?
Oh, no.
They look old.
If this guy kills you, you couldn't move faster than 2 miles an hour.
I know. He probably killed another old person.
I'll stand by that, I'll tell you.
He's 77 in this picture?
Yes.
What in the fuck?
I know, he looks like he's fucking 105.
Bad DNA.
Do we blame the judge again?
There's just mold growing like on his cheek, like he's dying already.
He looks like the guy in Indiana Jones with a...
Yeah, I expect to see a fucking roach crawl up his fucking side of his head.
Look how fucked up the lighting is too, man. That's kind
They
of...
make him look older, dude.
Whoa.
They up the contrast for sure. That's the word I was fucking.
He's like, what was that, Your Honor? I'm just trying to keep my eye inside.
He looks like the Tales of the Crypt. Yeah.
Crypt Keeper.
Yeah.
He can't even believe he's alive.
Stupid.
God dang, he's 70 something.
Oh my God.
That one looks 30 years older than his age.
Yeah,
Well, let me tell you the history of his crimes. So back in 1979, his wife, 34-year-old Sandra, served him with divorce papers and asked police to escort him from the apartment. 3 weeks later, she asked him to come and pick up his stuff. Then that's when Sandra's 12-year-old daughter from a previous relationship was hiding in the back bedroom, and through a crack in the door, she saw him bend his mother's arm behind her back and push her into a chair while saying he loved her and he didn't want to hurt her. And then after the mom was screaming, the daughter ran downstairs and asked a neighbor to call the cops, and the neighbor passed Albert covered in blood. So he ended up stabbing Sandra 14 times, and she lived long enough to tell the neighbor that her husband did it.
Oh my God.
And then the police found a 3.5-inch jackknife in the living room.
They should never have let him out. That's fucking crazy.
So that was
14 times?
So there's more than one. They keep letting him out.
Okay, so then when he was 36 years old, that's when he was sentenced to 30 years in prison. And so...
Damn, they were lenient back then.
Damn. What state is this?
Maine, I believe.
It's a state that supports criminals, I think.
So the next thing was that in 2007, he was arrested after punching a woman that he was dating, and he stabbed her with a fork.
Wait till he got out.
Yeah.
Okay.
3 years later, in 2010, a woman told police that she and Albert were arguing and that he put her in a headlock and repeatedly hit her with the butt of his knife and then chased her with a screwdriver before she escaped.
Oh, God.
And then police found him trying to hang himself on a fire escape.
They stopped him?
Yeah.
How many other women
Then-
did he fuck up that they didn't report?
Yeah.
I know, right?
He's so
Or kill.
predictable though. He always gets the lady in a hold first before he does something. Because the other one was the arm behind the back, and then this one's a headlock.
Yep.
Yeah, it's kind of a hack, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
So predictable.
In 2014, he ran into the woman that he had assaulted and told her, "You'll get yours."
Let me get a full Nelson. Get in a full Nelson, stabbed her.
What's a full Nelson?
When you go like this.
I love that Gia's just like, yes, assume the position. Show them.
Well, I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
So then, so he pled guilty to violating his probation. He was sent back to prison until 2016, and then after he was released, he moved to a different city in Maine, where he lived with his nephew, and that's where he met this 48-year-old woman named Kimberly at a library. And so they're saying that Kimberly and her 2 boys lived in a shelter, and they were about to move on to their own apartment.
He must be charming.
When Albert offered to buy her her son's nutritious meals, and so then they
I'll buy him nutritious meals.
they were
That is
regular-
definitely not shoes.
I read wrong. Sons and shoes. I'm a little bit dyslexic, guys.
You're just hopeful.
Damn. Okay, so
To buy me shoes.
I was picturing him being like, "Hey, how much for those shoes there, boy?" Like offering to buy
Buy his
that's funny. Okay, so then he was regularly seen with Kimberly, and he would kind of like stalk her.
Kardashian?
Kimberly Dobby is her name. Yeah. So.
Harry Potter character.
So then he was seen from the bus stop to the library. He would follow her a lot. And then 2 days before he decided to kill her, he went to Walmart and bought 2 pink-handled paring knives. And then that's when he trailed her again on the day of her murder, and trailed her and her 2 kids to, from this Dunkin' Donuts to a laundromat. And then they're saying that she had just put in a load of laundry when she stepped outside to make a phone call. And she was sitting on the steps talking on her cell phone while her boys played on the sidewalk when he went up to her and stabbed her at least 11 times. And so I guess the whole thing here was like...
They stopped counting after 11?
That's how they reported it, at least 11. And then so...
He could have been really accurate, and it's like 22 times, but just each hole was twice.
Yeah. They went back on the same one.
This is terrible. Okay, good.
But dude, he murdered her in front of her twin boys.
That sucks.
Oh my god.
You know why
That's
he
2
bought-
witnesses.
You know why?
Idiot.
3 because they mentioned this other witness who was who had just happened to be there, and she witnessed this shit.
You know why he bought pink candles?
Why?
Because he's like, there's no way those are my knives. That's a girl's knife. Yeah. He tried to hide.
Yeah.
Your Honor, why would my client purchase a pink knife?
That's a girl's knife.
Case closed.
You're right. That's not his knife.
Right?
Despite the fact there's 3 witnesses.
By a jury of your peers.
Yeah.
So
No.
when did he go? When was the judge like, you're too old?
9 years ago.
Okay.
So after all that, they're like, you know what? You're too old. And then he kills someone.
I love that they...
Well, maybe he was like, I'll prove you wrong. I'm not too old. You know?
Oh, what if that sparked his?
Yeah, he killed him and he's like, still got it.
Yeah.
This feels like a
but-
podcast. Like he got out because some podcast went viral. It was like, this old guy needs to be free.
Damn.
Podcast.
But yeah, people were like, how the fuck? He did this shit in broad daylight. Like,
So-
he doesn't give a fuck.
Is the pink knife incident
Yeah.
the most recent one after he got released?
Oh my
Because
lord.
they were like, he's too old. And he decided to go to Walmart and still kill.
What do
wait,
you
was
need
it the
2
most?
knives for?
I don't know.
Faster.
It gets, maybe one gets dull and you gotta pull out the other one.
He's so old and he's like tired.
Yeah.
More.
I love how dude, how many times did he go to prison? Like 3?
Yeah.
I love how they call it the Department of Corrections. Like, what did they fix?
Only twice, I
I
think.
know. I don't fix anything.
They don't fix
And on the
shit.
3rd one, they were like, you too old.
He is rehabilitated. You know what I mean? Like, what?
They didn't rehabilitate shit.
Jesus.
But now people are like, are you fucking kidding me, man? Like, these 2 kids lost their mom because you thought he was too fucking old.
And then when he gets released, does he get a Ziploc bag with the 2 pink knives in it too?
He does get his stuff back. That's his part of his things.
Yeah.
And why don't we kill people again in prison? I forgot.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, this guy should be on the electric chair.
Because sometimes I feel like we should.
Like,
This is interesting.
They were saying that the witness that I referred to as a she, it was a he, Dennis. He ran outside after hearing Kimberly scream and then drop kicked him and then held him to the ground with his foot until the police arrived.
Because he's so old. Yeah.
Yeah, but that was just kind of a funny visual.
What
in
if
my
the
head.
judge was just like, man, I know the sheet says he's only 69, but this dude looks 100. So like he can go free. He's not gonna hurt anyone. That guy's just like sitting there like tanning in all of his like he was trying to like
This is in
make himself
Maine.
look
like,
older.
Are the prisons over flooded in Maine? Like they can't hold one more guy who deserves to be there? Like,
That sounds like a lifer to me.
How did he only have 30 years to begin with? I have a question.
That's what I'm saying. I hear all the time. It's like this guy murders this person, this chick murdered her husband or whatever, and it's like 15 years. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
15 years?
Maybe he smells like shit and the jail didn't want him in there anymore.
Oh, yeah.
It could have been the smell thing.
Because he smells rotten.
You hear about that, yeah.
You do hear about those cases.
I've heard it.
I don't understand this world.